Well, hello. I'm Dr. Dave Joyner, welcoming you to this introduction to the Trinity Group. We've been assisting clients since 1993, but let's take a moment to talk about your project. What makes the Trinity Group uniquely qualified to help you? Well, collectively, our team has 150 years of mixture of construction engineering experience. The Trinity Group's been in operation since 1993, and we provided services to organizations as large as El Paso Pipeline and State Farm Insurance, down to clients as small as individuals with particular structures that they needed assistance with. At the Trinity Group, your project is not going to be just a number. Here, every member of the team wants to turn your project into a true success. Let's talk more specifically about how we can help you in your organization. Are you a commercial broker with a specific use property? Or an owner? Or a broker representing an owner with vacant land? Do you have nagging engineering questions like how much is it going to cost to bring water utilities and sewer utilities to your property? Specifically, what are the regulatory authorities going to be making you set aside so you can get your utilities and stormwater considerations taken care of? After setting aside the land for that, are you going to have enough property to handle the specific use that your buyer intended or wanted answers for to start with? At the Trinity Group, we can help you answer those questions. And not only can we answer those questions, we can go beyond what other engineers and architects do. We can help you decide if you can make money with what you want to do with your property. And isn't that what the end user wanted to know about the property to start with? You see, at the Trinity Group, for a very small fee, we can help you answer those questions. And we can probably help you justify the value of that land at many times the cost of our service. That's what separates us. Let us have an example and show you what the Trinity Group can do for you and your client.
Hello, this is Dr. David Joyner. We're getting ready to give you a presentation, an example of dynamic engineering. We use a product called SiteOps in order to do this dynamic engineering. It is a very powerful and quick way to produce conceptual plans that used to take 2-3 weeks to do, and we can now do in just 2 or 3 days. It is amazing, and I think you'll agree with me as we go through it. And I want to remind everyone who's getting ready to watch, this gentleman that is doing the presentation is a first-rate expert, and he will fly through in 9 minutes what everybody else would take twice as long to talk about. He is just that good with it. Now, dynamic engineering is going to very quickly allow us to look at all the what-ifs on your job site and decide the best place for the building, the best size of the building, how to put the parking in, where to put the inlets for water, how to do the grading. I mean, it will not do preliminary engineering, but it will almost get us there. It is that good. I'm very impressed with it. I think you will be too. In addition to dynamic engineering, the one thing that Trinity Group can do that other engineers and architects cannot do is go that next step beyond what SiteOps can do, but take that SiteOps information and pull it into a financial pro forma. Now, without any further ado, let's begin.
Now you can start with something as simple as nothing and just start drawing boundaries and buildings, or you can come in and maybe you want to use one of our tools that allow you to go out to the internet and grab some data. So we're going to quickly add in an address, but if by all means, if you had a DWG file, say an AutoSurvey, you could bring that data in as well and start from that point, or just enter in a project and have the software just do grading and piping. So we're going to enter in an address in Concord, North Carolina. We'll zoom into this project and we'll be able to see it, be able to grab the data. We won't hire low resolution imagery. We want topography and select the data that we want to use. Now, there we go. We now have an aerial image and some existing topography to start working with our project. So let's turn off the layer and let's get in and start actually performing a layout. So we need to define the boundary. So we'll quickly use a thing called other area, define this boundary, and there we go. We've now set this boundary for the project. Now, let's come in. Now, parametric design is what is the basis of SiteOps. Again, everything in here has properties. For example, I'm on a property line. I just went and changed the setbacks to 0. Let's come in, zoom the image down a little bit, and I'm going to show you examples of what parametric design is and how these objects interact with each other. So let's quickly draw a parking lot. Now again, I'm just saying quickly because you're going to see that within seconds we can draw hundreds of parking spaces that normally would take hours to do. There we go. There's a parking lot. So I can now look at the properties on the right-hand side. Let's say, for example, I wanted to change the angle of the parking spaces, 60 degrees. There we go. Now, this is not a static parking lot design either. This is very dynamic. Pick on any corner, move things around, change radiuses. Very interactive site plan. So let's come in and just put a simple building, maybe a 100 by 200, and see how that reacts. Instantly, the parking moves away. And if you notice on the right-hand side, the properties for the building are completely different than they are for the parking lot. Let's say we want sidewalk. Let's come in and make it a little wider so we can put in some tables for a restaurant. Then the client asks for just something simple. Let's come in, let's rotate it, and let's move it along the southern property line. SiteOps is here to help you look at all your conceptual designs really easy, quickly, but yet still give the client everything they need. Now, again, this is just a quick glance into the parametric design, so let's just add a quick driveway. Simple, just pick on the parking lot where I want to tie in, go out to the existing roadway. There, we're done. So again, parametric design is the ability to allow objects to look and react with each other. So let's come in, let's do this site for real. Now, spatial templates is another way a lot of our users like to use SiteOps. I could come in, set spatial templates up that can be very simple or very complex. This one has building, sidewalk, parking areas. And you're going to see that I'm going to come in, I'm going to use again, some of our basic CAD tools, for example. We'll use offset. We can have offset, alignment, snaps, different things to help control the site. We'll offset that 270 feet so it lines up. Start that drawing solver. And there we go. Now I can simply see the layout. But again, with the spatial templates, it's just a starting point. You don't have to keep things a certain way. Let's say, for example, we'll just do something a little extreme here. Let's take this parking direction line, which controls how the parking looks, and see how I simply just picked on a point, moved it, and changed it. Let's add up, for example, some parking features. Let's add a parking bay point. Again, just simply click on it, change the property, and there we go. Now we've got landscaping, bioswale, any kind of thing we'd want to add in there. Let's add something as simple as handicap. Come in, pick handicap, define the area where we want it, tell them how many we want to see. There we go. And then I can even change the material for that, and I could even come in and change the slopes to reflect ADA codes that need to be met for that certain area. So again, a lot of things inside SiteOps to help you to get very detailed with your layout. So let's come in, and now we're just going to add a simple driveway to this one. And again, driveways can be very simple, just from one point to another. They can connect parking lots, connect existing roadways to proposed roadways, and we can get very detailed. Here I'm making in multiple lanes in and out with tapers. You see on the right hand side we got the properties. Hit enter, and there it is. Instantly we see that. We could add medians. Again, a lot of things we can use. Now I've gone further along inside this design. I've added a few other spatial templates, but I want to show you one more. We'll add in a gas station. So again, just remember, use the spatial templates. They're going to make life nice and simple for you. Bring this gas station up. All I got to do now, simply come in, do a quick offset. Maybe again, I want to align this up to a property line. Drop a few driveways. Hit the solver button, and I'm done. By use of templates, you can make your life even simpler and even faster than SiteOps already does if you don't use them. So there we go. That quick, I've created a gas station. Now we have all other kind of tools and kind of areas that need to be addressed. Let's say, for example, what if we had an out parcel? Don't know what we're going to do over here, but definitely want to grade this, especially at the time that we're doing the grading for the rest of the project. Identify areas, and we'll just quickly come in and create an out parcel from this area. Let's change the fruit parameters. Maybe I don't want the setback to be that far away. So then when it slopes, it's going to be right up against there at a very small slope area. So let's come in, let's add a detention pond. Now you can tie in stormwater into existing catch basins, existing ponds. You can come in and have the software do conceptual design, or you can come in and just outline and create your own stormwater pond. So there we go. But it does have properties you can change as well. Another great tool we've added inside of SiteOps is a sweep analysis path. And what this is, it gives the user the ability to define the path of the vehicle and then be able to see how that vehicle routes through that path. You know, we'll look at, for example, a transfer truck and how it comes into the entrance of a project. Then set a point to be able to represent that vehicle. We can also go back, for example, and see how does it deal with the dock areas. The typical type of things that a client would want to see whenever you're helping to design a project. Again, we add this inside of SiteOps to help the project go forward. Now let's grade the site. This is where we're going to see the cost. Look in the lower right hand corner, you'll see the numbers moving because it's doing a conceptual grading plan to make sure that we haven't made any assumptions wrong. We've got red is cut, blue is fill, yellow means very little elevation change, and purple, that's retaining wall. SiteOps has the ability to look at import and export costs, grading costs, wall costs, look at what is the best thing to do for this site. We can see contours, we've turned them on, just getting an idea of how is it going to look at sloping the parking lot, what direction, and get some concepts as we're going through with the project. We can see that images, buildings are three-dimensional. We can even see the dumpster areas on the fast food restaurant, for example. So again, very nice little quick layout that you can visually see what's happening on this project. Let's even take a look at geotech. So if you do know what your geotech for a site, once you get in, input it in, and see how the rock or unsuitable soil, contaminated soil, see how it's going to affect the site, not just from a design, from a cost standpoint. Now, once we got the grading done, the next thing they need to do is piping. Piping is just a click of a button, and we've done some conceptual piping. Now, when we get through with optimization, it will look completely different. It will optimize what is the best way to move dirt versus piping that we see here. And you will typically see piping come in with a lot less piping to meet the needs that you need to, and not more sheet flowing of water. Once you've got a design, you would actually save it, and you want to go out and submit this off for optimization. Optimization is where the software is going to look at from thousands to millions of options on a site and say, what's the best way to grade and pipe the layout we've just created? So you would actually tell it, I want to send this off.
Again, this grading
at this point, you just wait for an email.
Is a fantastic feature.
You want to go in and say, go back and look at your results and see what's happened. Now, here's this same site with and without rock. So we can see there's a good bit of money cost due to adding in the rock, but it details a very detailed budget that you can see. You have your topsoil, your cut, fill, exporting, retaining walls, fine grading, your on-site improvements such as curb, gutter, asphalt. We have all that information in here with the unit quantity and unit cost. And then we come into your stormwater. Then we see a nice cost, a little over $2.9 million. Now we also bring this in for an output as an Excel, but you also have DWG and LandXML files that you would take the design that you want to go forward with to construction document phase. For example, pick the DWG, open it up inside of Civil 3D. We'll turn off a few layers. Now we give you finished grade and finished subgrade contours, because we do grade the subgrade, because you can put those material thicknesses in there. We also give you 3-line curb sections. We give you all the information you need to pick this up and go forward in your design. But SiteOps thinks just like a civil engineer would. For example, a civil engineer, when he's doing a grading plan, is going to take an existing 10 and he's going to do a comparison against the proposed 10. We normally get enough budget to run through 4 or 5 cycles, and we're out of time or money. With SiteOps, you can do millions of those same cycles in a fraction of a time it takes you to do just one. So let's zoom in. Finished floor elevation, again, you can control it. You can let SiteOps figure out the best one. 3-line curb section, piping with your length and slope, spot elevations, parking counted. And then over on the right-hand side, you can see that the piping looks a little better. And here's an actual storm drains design table with everything from rim elevations, invert, in and out. Additional information all the way down to the amount of impervious surface. A great time saver so that you don't have to figure that out. So this is basically SiteOps in a
Now, let's take a quick look at a sample project we've done in the past.
This is Dr. David Joyner. What you see in front of you now is a pro forma for a mixed-use development. It's a mixture of retail, office, and restaurant space. Now, SiteOps can help us with the expense section. Very quickly, we can get the information we need to have accurate site and development cost for your development. And in addition, the Trinity Group has the expertise to spread those costs into the right periodic periods that we expect to see them. Now, in addition to that, the Trinity Group keeps in contact with local brokers so we can provide up-to-date income and sales figures to use in our income sections. And very quickly, we can make changes such as the one you see in front of you. Let's change this back to 5,000 square feet. Hit return. And automatically over here in the key results statistics, we can see changes in the cash flow on day one, as well as expense income ratio figures and other critical information that we need to make sure that we're making the best decision on what to use the property for.
The Trinity Group does what no other engineer, architect, or planner is qualified to do. We will take you or your buyer's land to create a conceptual plan and a financial pro forma to see what kind of return you can expect from your land development.
Now, what we discuss is good of interest to you, your client, or one of your prospective buyers. Call the number at the bottom of your screen or send us an inquiry and we'll set up a one-on-one meeting regarding your specific property. The work we do can help increase the value of your property and make it an easier buying decision on behalf of your prospective buyer. The Trinity Group may even be able to help you find financing for construction or acquisition. So you have little to lose and everything to gain. Give us a call now.